Welcome back. You're watching The Buck Stops Here. Time now to shift our focus to Jammu and Kashmir, where the state is continuing to maintain a healthy turnout. In its third phase today, if we can bring those graphics up, please, the polling has been 59% in phase 3. And Uri, where the terror attack took place on the army camp, has hit back at the terror attack with an 83% turnout. Tral, however, an area which also saw a terror attack, has stayed cautious at 38%. What's very interesting, if we can just move on now to the next graphic and we can take you through the details of this. Uri, as we were saying, hits back at terror with 83% turnout. Tral stays cautious at 38%. The separatist bastion of Sopore, considered a Syed Ali Shah Gilani base, recorded 30% polling today. Compare this to the 1% in the Lok Sabha elections in this assembly segment. Tonight we ask again whether this is an election of hope or hype. Can this election heal the wounded state? Time now for our Kahwa stop from Srinagar. Hello and welcome to this special broadcast coming to you from Srinagar. In the Lok Sabha elections of 2014, we brought you our special series Chai Stop, where we would discuss the burning political issue of the day over a cup of chai. But when in Kashmir, it has to be the Kahwa stop. Kahwa, of course, is the traditional chai consumed here with spices, especially in winter. It's a delightful cup of tea, but even more delightful is going to be our conversation today on this Kahwa stop. We're looking, of course, at the elections, and over steaming hot cups of Kahwa, we'll be asking a range of people here what they expect from the elections. Is this an election of hope or is this an election of hype? Can it bring healing to the state of Jammu and Kashmir? Those are some of the questions that we will be putting to the many, many different cross-section of voices that we have here with our cups of Kahwa. So I'm going to just move from table to table and get a sense from people as to whether they are voting, they're not voting, if they are, why, if they aren't, why not. आप में से कौन vote करेगा या करने का इरादा है? जी. Tell me, what are you hoping for? क्या उम्मीद है?
I'm hoping for best. It is mainly, I am voting mainly for the purpose of this administration. Achha. Yes, and I think that if they are going to do something better, they are going to do something better for us. That is why I am voting this time.
And do you feel that more people are voting this time because people have decided that they must have a voice at least in the Bijli Sadak Pani issues?
Yes, yes. Most of the, if we see here in the Gandharwal and other where, yes, there is a quite high percentage of people that they are voting this time.
So you're voting for your administrative issues. What about you? Are you planning to vote?
No, I'm not going to vote.
Why is that?
Well, because I already know the candidates which are going to contest elections from my constituency. Since I know them and I know they have not been doing anything so far, so why should I go and vote them when I know they won't do anything?
But suppose later you're unhappy with them and you haven't voted. Don't you worry that you won't have a voice in the system?
Well, even if I go and vote and I know they are not going to do anything, I'll still complain about it. And I'll complain either way.
So you're not going to vote?
No, not at all.
Have you ever voted?
No, this is my first time.
Oh, this is your first election and you have chosen not to vote. So two very different perspectives here. I'll come to you as well, but let me go to this table. We have somebody from Ladakh here also, and we have this young girl here. Let's start with her. Aap vote karenge?
Yeah, if I get a chance, I will.
Why do you say if you get a chance?
Because for me, on my own personal opinions, I would like to have somebody, a little hope, because I know, and I have a choice to make. If I have a choice to make, I would vote for somebody. I would not say who. But to see a little of hope of a better Kashmir, I don't know in what ways that better will be. It can be in any way. But sensibly saying, I would just want that person or that party not to play politics, just sensibly work on to make people of Kashmir a little peaceful, and to be happy living in this paradise and not being miserable now and then because of all the calamities or whatever the past has given us. And
so you're hoping for peace?
Yeah, hope for peace.
And do you believe this election is different from other elections?
Not at all.
Not different?
Not at all.
Not different. Well, it's been billed as one of the most distinct elections, but is it really for the young people here? What about you? What do you think of these elections?
Like, in order to vote, I would like to know these election as an institution are credible. Like, people have been voting for Bijli Sadak Pani, and they have been voting for Bijli Sadak Pani since decades, and nothing has been resolved yet.
But don't you think, I'm just coming there, don't you think that जब आप credibility की बात करते हैं, एक बदलाव तो आया है, that nobody is these are free and fair elections. एक ज़माना होता था जब allegations होती थी rigging की, coercion की, अब वो नहीं होता. अब जिसको वोट करना है वो करता है, जिसको नहीं करना वो नहीं करता. So why do you question the credibility?
If I start believing that, like, all of a sudden these politicians are going to, like, fulfill our demands, the promises they have made, it will be wrong. Like, people given mandate, they have scam up to their sleeves. So how can I trust them?
So you won't vote?
No, I won't vote.
What about you? Let me ask you, आपका क्या ख्याल है?
Absolutely, I'm not going to vote because the kind of leaders we have in Kashmir. Recently in GK, I saw that more than 76% of our leaders are educational drawback. So we can guess that what sort of leaders they are going.
But isn't that elitist? आप कह रहे हैं कि you have to be educated to be a politician.
No, it's not necessary that we have to be educated, but to some extent that they have to understand the aspirations of younger generations. So it is.
What is your aspiration? You know, the Prime Minister made a statement saying that even today's youth wants to hold an Android, not an AK-47. Do you agree?
I don't agree because...
you don't agree? You don't think young people want aspiration, dreams, and they want guns?
Ma'am, just try to listen me. Actually, it was a criminal statement. I will try to justify it because he said that the generation need Android phone, not AK-47. It means he is indirectly trying to portray us as terrorists.
No, he was talking about misled youth. उन्होंने कहा कि जो mislead हुए हैं, लेकिन you were, of course, you say you don't agree with that statement. Let's get a perspective here. We have somebody here who's from Jammu but who works in Srinagar, is also a cultural activist. Ravinder Kaul, आप क्या सोचते हैं?
I think that I'm very happy with these young people here, and many of them are voting and they have some faith in democracy. I think the best thing about this election is that people are going out to vote and they are expressing their faith in the democratic system of this.
But you know, you heard some of the young people here saying, we are voting for Bijli Sadak Pani. We are voting for administration. Don't mix this up with the larger debate that continues around Jammu and Kashmir. So what do you say about that?
My take on this is that every time you elect a chief minister, so you elect legislatures, and legislators in turn elect a chief minister, and he becomes the representative of Jammu and Kashmir state. If you have to talk about the larger Kashmir issue, as they say, I think he is the most appropriate person because he represents the people of the state.
So you think that the elections are a route to the larger dialogue?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let me see if the person sitting next to you agrees with what you said.
What?
आप vote करेंगे?
No.
क्यों नहीं?
Ma'am, because this is voting and the Kashmir dispute. They are two different things.
Okay.
But the politicians here are saying, when they are doing this election meetings and all that, they're saying we'll do this justice with this Kashmir dispute and all that. But then when they win, then they are just what?
So you don't have much hope?
No.
Okay, so we're having really a mix of views here. And let me get a perspective here. Any of you are going to vote? Huh? You're going to vote? Okay, so tell me I'll come to you also. What are you expecting?
Actually, I'm going to vote, but I doesn't have any idea about these political leaders because it's my first...
Vote करेंगे, पहला election है.
Yeah, this is my first time.
So what is making you vote? Because a lot of people this time, unlike other elections, are voting.
Because actually I expected a lot of expectations, what they promised with the people, like they have promised that we will do these things. But actually, from the last decades, they are not doing this. But actually, for this time, like it's a new government, like they are the new candidates and new.
Yes.
They are.
So they're new people, so you want to give them a chance.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said you would not vote. Why?
Absolutely, I'm not. Absolutely, I'm not going to vote because India is portraying elections as an right to self-determination. And
who has said that it's a right to self-determination?
Yes, every now and then we are seeing in media that these are that people have voted, and something like that.
मैं आपसे एक बात पूछूं, ये separatist जो leaders हैं, You've seen someone like Sajad Lone. Yes. He used to be a separatist. He's contesting this time. Do you not think elections are the best way for even the other separatists? Syed Ali Shah Gilani, he's been a member of the assembly before. Let's not forget Mirwais Omar Farooq. Why don't they just contest and test their popular support?
Ma'am, actually, India is portraying it as an
larger.
It's a political issue.
Okay.
It's a political issue.
So you're saying don't mix up the two. Let me just get your sense. Anyone voting at this table? Okay, people are voting. Let's hear what you're hoping for.
Yeah, we are hoping for the change. It's my first time I am voting. It's why I am voting, because last 3 decades or years I have not voted, and we have got nothing from that. So we want change. We want people to change.
What's making you vote this time? इस बारी क्या अलग है कि आपने फैसला किया कि वोट तो मैं डालूंगा?
Yeah, definitely. I should vote because I want change. I want Kashmir to change. People here, people are coming in large numbers to vote this year because they know nothing had happened in past. So
they're voting for change. What do you think? Are you going to vote?
No, I'm not going to vote. Because first, for which party I am going to vote, they have to accept that Kashmir is a disputed land between two nations.
But India will never accept that.
Why?
मैं आपको एक factual position दे रही हूँ कि आपको लगता है कि आजकल जो boycott call होता था पहले, that has no effectiveness anymore. You know, so separatists also have to review their previous politics.
No, I don't think so. It's why? Because Kashmiri people want Kashmir. They want development.
अच्छा, जो लोग वोट कर रहे हैं, एक मिनट, जो लोग वोट कर रहे हैं, आप उनको तो रिस्पेक्ट करेंगे, उनकी अपनी चॉइस है.
For what they are voting, I went back a week back in Vathura village, and they were all PDP supporters. I asked them why you are voting for PDP, and you know what was the answer? They said because we are voting for electricity, we are voting for unemployment. Okay. I will be happy if I drive an auto. I will be happy for that, but I won't vote because they are projecting.
I've understood what you're saying. You're saying that there's a distinction between the Bijli Sadak Pani issues and the larger issue. That's what you're saying. You said you would vote. Why?
Yes, I have wasted a couple of votes previously. This is the first election I'll be voting by. What's special in this election? My identity is at stake. I'll vote to protect my constitution. I'll vote to protect my sub-nationalism. I'll vote to protect my flag. I'll vote to protect the exploitation of my water resources at the hands of NHPC. I'll vote to strengthen my assembly.
Very interesting. You're actually saying that you believe that the special status of Jammu and Kashmir, it has its own flag, it has its own constitution. It is important for people to safeguard those politics and the party positions that actually support those.
Absolutely. There are some foreign voices coming. They are saying even Article 370 will be abrogated.
Foreign voices means?
BJP, obviously.
How can you call it a foreign voice?
Because they had no sitting in the land of Jammu and Kashmir.
It's a free and fair election. लोगों की मर्जी है, उनको वोट करेंगे या ना करेंगे. Foreign कहाँ से बन गए? I mean, they're Indian.
Yes, that's why they are foreign. That's what.
So then all other parties are also that who swear by the Indian Constitution. The National Conference and the PDP owe their allegiance to the Indian Constitution.
They do, but they have an agenda. For example, you talk about National Conference. They have the autonomy. They talk about strengthening of assembly. PDP has the self-rule. They talk about strengthening of the assembly. But BJP tries to dilute the J&K's special position.
Okay, so you're saying you will actually vote to safeguard the historical position, as it were, of Jammu and Kashmir within the larger union. I haven't spoken to you. Are you planning to vote?
No, absolutely not. I'm not planning to vote. No, because I have some personal issues. Because you know what? The India is not highlighting the democratic setup since decades. But what is happening? We are just buried and we are just busting the streets. Well, you know what? Recently in Haryana, you do the goons.
Beating up Kashmiris.
Yeah.
Yes. So you feel there's absolutely no point. Is there someone here who hasn't spoken? Yes, you're from Ladakh. Are you going to and you study here? You study here? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you study?
MA in political science. I'm pursuing master's degree in political science.
Now, one of the things about Jammu and Kashmir is that the three regions have very different approaches to the same issues, right? And that creates, it becomes very difficult to actually have a representative audience because just region में आप जाएं अलग-अलग तरह की आपको opinions मिलती हैं. What do you think of these elections?
इस इलेक्शन से मुझे काफ़ी उम्मीद है क्योंकि मेरा फर्स्ट टाइम था और मैंने वोट कास्ट किया लद्दाख में जाके मैंने वोट कास्ट किया क्योंकि उम्मीद था क्योंकि मेरा मानना ये हम यूथ क्रिटिक्स करते हैं कि पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स कुछ नहीं करते हमारे लीडर्स कुछ नहीं करते मेरा मानना ये कि हम यूथ को आना चाहिए हमारे वॉइस को आगे रखना चाहिए कि हमें क्या चाहिए एक्चुअल में हमें क्या चाहिए जब तक हम अपने वॉइस को आगे नहीं रखेंगे, हम अपने आप को रिप्रेजेंट नहीं कर पाएंगे।
तो यहाँ जो आपके दोस्त हैं जो कहते हैं हम नहीं वोट डालेंगे, आप उनको क्या कहेंगे?
मैं उनको यही कहना चाहूंगा, उनके अपने पर्सनल रीजंस हो सकते हैं या जनरल कोई रीजंस हो सकते हैं, लेकिन जहां तक मेरा मानना है, अगर हम एज ए यूथ वोट ना डालें, एज ए यूथ हम अपने वॉइस को आगे ना ले जाए, तो मतलब हम नहीं कह सकते, हम ब्लेम नहीं लगा सकते कि कोई
तो बाद में कंप्लेन नहीं कर सकते
बाद में।
ओके, व्हाट डू यू थिंक?
I'm definitely not going to cast my vote, because as that person tried to say, elections are being tried to be portrayed as the substitute for plebiscite.
But there's never going to be a plebiscite. Surely you know that. There's never, no, I'm just saying there's never going to be.
Why?
I'm just giving you a factual position. I'm coming to you. One minute, you're all shouting. There's no need to shout. I'm giving you my assessment. If you are right, if I am giving you my assessment. Excuse me, 1 minute. I am giving you my assessment. अगर आप ठीक साबित हैं तो 10 साल बाद हम मिलेंगे. 10 साल बाद मिलेंगे.
Then how is it a democratic country when plebiscite is our constitution?
Why don't your separatists come and test the electoral ground here?
Why don't the government come and hold a plebiscite?
You're all speaking together. Let him speak.
Why don't the Indian government come and hold a plebiscite when they are that much sure?
Okay, you want to add to that?
Yeah, see, Jammu and Kashmir cannot be discussed from one point of view and denying the other parts.
Yes.
It cannot be taken as a political thing, isolated, an economic thing, or whatever. You cannot isolate every section alag-alag. Like, it's all interrelated.
Okay.
So, for politics, everyone has his own view of voting and not voting. I'll vote because someday or somewhere I have that hope. He doesn't have, that's something, his own personal opinion. But the point here is, whatever the constitution has given us and whatever the agreements have been there, if any party wins and actually gets down to gain the trust of people, can actually help to have a better relationship.
Okay, I think that's well said, that the elections could be a beginning. They're not a means to an end. I think you haven't spoken yet. Just your last comments, then I have to end.
1951 July, when the elections were rejected by this Security Council of the Union, I feel.
But we are in 2014.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the relevance of the United Nations?
What was the last time, ma'am? I want to tell India that if they are going to build a strength of 15 lakh army, they have these atomic.
Okay, so you're not going to vote. I've understood your point. No, we're out of time. Now you're seeing. Excuse me, we're out of time. I've got to end. You're seeing the division of very strong opinions here. Some people here say elections are meaningless. Some people here say elections could be a means to an end. Some people say they're voting because they want to safeguard the special status. So we've got a mix of honest opinions here. 10 seconds to you. 10 seconds, have to end.
It's only Article 370 which has created this otherness in Jammu.
But you had him saying.
Number one.
No, okay, let's not start a debate now on 370. I'm going to end here before this discussion actually goes out of control. As you can see, this is why the issue of Jammu and Kashmir is so difficult to have an honest conversation on, because tempers will always fly. People will always accuse the media. The media, of course, gets pissed, as they say, from all sides. However, we tried to give you an unvarnished, honest mix of opinions. People who are voting, people who are not voting, a number of people saying they're voting, but the larger issue, the larger questions, the larger challenges of the Jammu and Kashmir issue remain, and whichever government comes will soon have to address that. That's it on our very volatile Kahwa Stop now. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.